All right, for today, Monday, April 27th, we are going to be completing chapter 12, lesson 6. And this is called Find Shapes in Shapes. So our essential question is, how can you find shapes in other shapes? So for our first question here, the listen and draw, I just want you to explore with your pattern blocks, making new shapes with the given pattern blocks. So discuss different shapes that can be made using the same pattern blocks. So the first thing up here says to make one hexagon. What shape can you make with one hexagon and two triangles? So go ahead and grab those three pieces. So one hexagon and two triangles. And what shape can you make? So I could maybe put one triangle on the top and the bottom of that hexagon. So when I actually trace that shape, what I have made is what you may call a diamond, but it is a rhombus. So with two triangles and a hexagon put together, I made a new shape. I made a rhombus. So what if I moved those and maybe I put one here and one here and traced it? What shape is that? Right, it's a trapezoid. So I could make a rhombus or a trapezoid using a hexagon and two triangles. Who would have thought? So see if you can explore and see if you can make any other shapes with that. So I'm going to label those rhombus and trapezoid. And then if I wanted to, I could even draw those lines in there to show where those shapes actually took place. Roundabout. All right. So, looking at the model and draw, it says which two pattern blocks make this shape. So if we draw that line, what two shapes fit up there? Right, a hexagon and a triangle. Exactly. So you're gonna reuse these. Get out your pattern blocks and use them to help you. So if you're looking down here at the next problems, it wants you to use your pattern blocks, two pattern blocks to make each shape, and draw a line to show in your model, just like we did up here with this one. They drew a line where they thought the shapes were separated. And then circle the shapes. So, sorry, color the shapes, circle the blocks. So, number one, these are a little bigger than what's on here. It fit up at the top, but not here. So I may just have to model that out to the side. So if I'm only using 2 pattern blocks is what it asked me to use. What other pattern block? I notice here is my hexagon, right? So what is that other shape at the bottom? That's a trapezoid. So if I were to rebuild that to show that same model here, I've used a hexagon, and let me move that off actually, a hexagon and a trapezoid. So I'm going to use the same colors as, because it says color the shapes. So I'm going to color my hexagon yellow to show that that's my hexagon shape. And then the trapezoid is red. Okay. So after I've colored them, then I'm going to circle those 2 shapes that I used to make that new pattern. Okay, now we've got another one over here. So again, I'm seeing that this would probably fit about there. And if I took that across, then I'm going to have that hexagon, but I'm not going to have a trapezoid. Actually, I'm going to have the piece that I don't have. You all know the blue rhombus. I have to put 2 triangles together, but if I had that blue rhombus and I put it on top, I've made that same identical shape. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and circle these 2, and then I'm going to color them blue. Even though I don't have it, we know that that's the blue rhombus, and you have it, so you can model that shape. And then our yellow hexagon. Okay. So that's what you're doing. You're looking for the shapes within the shapes. So on the back, on the 3rd page, you're doing the same thing. Use 2 pattern blocks to make all 4 of these. So you have to pick 2 of those. So play around with that. Get out the triangle, the rhombus, the hexagon, and the trapezoid, and move them and mix them around. This cannot just be a trapezoid. You cannot just pull a trapezoid and circle a trapezoid, because that's not using 2 different pattern blocks. So you have to find 2 that would fit together to make the trapezoid. 2 pattern blocks to make the shape. Draw a line to circle, or to show your model, color the shapes, and color the blocks you use. So exactly like we just did on these 2. Draw the line to show where the 2 shapes are going to be, color them according to the shape you have, and then circle the shapes you used. Sure, you are going to do that on 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then number 7, use 3 pattern blocks. So up here you are using 2. Down here you're going to use 3 blocks to make this shape. Draw the lines to show your model, color the shapes, and circle the blocks you used. Same thing, just 3. Alright, so now they want you to make this shape. Use the number of pattern blocks listed. So you're going to make this same shape, but first you're going to only use 3 blocks, and you're going to tell me how many and which ones. So let me show you an example of this. If I can only use 3 blocks to make this, then let's say I use this, and then this, and this. Okay, so I would go down here and across here, but I can't draw it on there because I've got to do 4 different ones. But that's the same shape. It's a hexagon and 2 triangles. So I would write that I used 1 hexagon, 0 rhombuses, 0 trapezoids, and 2 triangles. That makes my 3 blocks. Okay, so then over here you're going to make that same shape, but now you've got to use 5 blocks. So you're going to have to do it a little differently, use different shapes. Then you're going to do it again, but you have to use 7 blocks. Then you're going to do it again and you have to use 8 blocks. So you've got to make that same thing 4 different ways, using 3, 5, 7, and 8 blocks, and tell me what those blocks ended up being. Then on number 12, use 4 pattern blocks to make this shape. Draw and color the blocks that you used. All right, parents, I will put the answer key on Class Dojo. If you need any other help with this, let me know.